Hello YouTube, RJ. Today we got some stuff in the mail. Going to open up and take a look at. One of them, I'm going to tell you that now, is a radio kit, and we're going to build that rascal. Now this is going to be an eBay purchase, no big deal. Some of my tuning tool adapter, alignment toolkit, some of my tools were getting kind of wore out, and I thought I'd get another set. I found on eBay from Barbie Electronics a set. Wasn't real expensive, so I picked that up. I'm going to be doing some more radio restorations and tuning them up and stuff. So I thought I'd pick these up. This is, if you're familiar with Farham. Farham, if you're not familiar with, is a Indian amateur radio home builder. He's quite the character. He's very, very prolific in the home building world. He's he comes. Some of the things he's done is he's the creator of the BidX series of transceivers, home built amateur transceivers, the Micro BidX, very popular unit, which I built one a long time ago. He's done the SBidX, which is a software-defined home-built radio. He's done the Daylight Again was one he did, an analog, went back to analog. And this is a little analog radio transceiver, and it's set up for 40 meters. And I saw that he'd had this out and somebody had kitted it up. He open sources his radios. Sometimes he's involved with kitting them. Sometimes other people kit them up with his, blessing. But this is called the LARCSET 40 meter. I don't know how well that's showing up. Let's see if we can get the light where you can see it. This is going to be the front panel. Here's the circuit board. And you might notice that a lot of surface mount parts on there, but they're pre-populated. So this kit is designed to be something that's not hard for someone who's like new and just getting their feet wet. He wanted to keep it small, so he wanted to do a lot of surface mount. Also because of the performance and benefits of going surface mount. He wanted it to be a kit. He wanted it to be able, anybody could build. Now, I think you can get just the boards from Farham and you can do all of this. But this little kit I thought would be perfect for us because there's a lot of my viewers that probably aren't going to sit down and do all this surface mount, but would definitely take on the little kit. So I thought I'd build this, and that'd be the first thing, however many videos it takes, 1, 2, whatever. We'll build this, we'll get it working just the way they want it. And then there's some real big improvements that we can make on this thing. Some interesting things we can do that would be on us to do. And I thought maybe we could do that. Maybe we would take the time to tweak this and see how we can improve it with our own little, own little magic. I want to do something with the tuning. The tuning is not very linear and it's very, very touchy. I want to do something there. It has no indicator. You mark on it where you turn the knob. I want to do something a little better than that. And the other thing I'd like to do, maybe after we get all that worked out, is I'd like to see if I could maybe even, I don't know, but maybe try converting it over to 80 meters. It'd be handier for me as 80 meters. I'd like to have it where I could pop over and talk to my gang on 80 meters and stuff without. I do a lot more 80 meters in the evening than I do 40 meters. I do 40 meters, but I think the thing puts out about 3 watts, if I remember right, on transmit. It does CW and SSB. And here's our parts checklist. And then we got to scan the code for the manual. So I'll do that offline here in a little bit. So let's see what all we get. We get a lot of parts. Okay. We're going to do some toroid winding. Looks like they did some of the tougher ones for us already, but we're going to do some toroid winding. We've got some crystals to put in. There's our heat sink. Got a little condenser mic. Look at that. Relays and connectors. We got here. Got a little thing of super glue. That's I'd imagine that's probably after we wind our toroids, we probably glue them to keep the stuff from moving around. Got some transistors in here, along with our crystals. It doesn't look too intimidating. There's going to be our output amplifier. Oh yeah, the old IR510 to give us some oof. That's where our 3 watts are going to come from. So kind of cool looking. He decided to go with a voltage control frequency oscillator. So my understanding is there's a 1N4007 diode on the board here that he uses as a variactor, and that's what you're going to vary the frequency with. So let me do this. Let me organize this stuff up a little, and I'll get all set up and get everything I need, I think, out here for building this kit. I'll download the plans or the instructions. I'll come back and we'll get started putting this thing together. Okay, I'm back, and wow, the manual is 28 pages long. Now, typical Farhan, if you know anything about Farhan, his whole purpose to all of this is teaching radio and making ham radios inexpensive for people, especially in India. A third of the manual of the 28 pages is him explaining where the radio came from in his line of, building radios. I built this. He talks about the BitX and how that's kind of the forefather of this and how it led. He talks to about teaching people how he wants them to learn about radios and stuff, and how the industry's changed. Surface mount components are cheaper than other components. So when you're trying to build a cheap radio, surface mount comes in to be very important to keep the cost down. He's got a lot of good information here, and he goes on and he tells you about what he was trying to accomplish and what he ended up at. And then he gets into the circuit, and the beginning of it describes how the circuits work, all the theory of the radio, how it functions, how the crystal filter works. So this is fantastic stuff for people that are interested in building radios. To kind of get a view into his thinking on this radio. And I'll put a link, or I'll try to remember to put the link to this up in the description of the video. You really should, if you're interested at all, you should really take a read of this first part. It's really good. And then we get to actually assembling the LARCSET. He tells you here you're going to need a volt ohm meter with current range, clean 12 volts, small long nose pliers, cutting pliers, a blade to strip the enamel off the wire for the toroids, a wire stripper, and a 25-watt soldering iron. He also says we're going to do this in stages. So step one is install the DC components. Let's get started. First step is break away the 2 side rails, and there are some side rails right here on the board, and we will work on getting those loosened up. We will pop them off. Okay, that was easy enough. Okay, step 1 complete. 1.1. 1.1, solder the DC socket onto the PCB. Better get my iron warming up here. So where's my DC socket? Here it is. We're going to be right here. That's going to be her right there. So easy enough. And let's go ahead and excuse the reach. Let's pull the old solder sucker over here and kind of control the fumes a little for me. All right. So flow enough solder on these pins, no problem. 1.2, solder the relay K1 to the PC. So let's find our relay over here. And our relay is going to be going over here. Start the relay. Carefully check that all pins are in the relay and these common to accidentally bend them. Once soldered, you cannot undo the step, so please be careful and double check that all the pins of the relay are in. Okay, well, I can see that some of mine are kind of bent a little. I got one here bent a little this way. We'll get her in there. Looks like this is going to be a really easy kit to build. I think this would be something really good for anyone that's wanting to get into kit building and wants to build maybe their first radio, maybe not their first radio, first transceiver maybe. Looks good to me. I don't see a problem with those. Now, he wants me to install the front panel. And it's held on by audio jacks. So he wants you to get the audio jacks out and remove the nuts off of them. So let's do that. And don't drop them on the floor like I just did, because now I got to go find that one. But spun it a little fast. She comes spinning off like a wheel and took off. I knew better. What a dummy. It's not like, that's never happened to me before. I've never made that mistake. Yeah, I have many times. I don't learn from my mistakes. I do the same stupid things over and over again. Okay, we're ready. All right, those are in. Put the front panel onto the holes of 3 audio jacks and screw the connector mounting rings on. I don't know why we're doing that. It seems like you'd want to get all your parts in your board before you had that big board standing up. And what they're wanting you to do is to go ahead and put this front face on like this and screw your screws on to hold it, because I think what they're planning on doing, they're planning on putting these knobs on. I guess it won't be too bad. I just prefer to get all my low stuff on, but we'll do it their way. I'm trying to show you how to do the kit. Who knows, maybe something will bite me in the rear end if I do it differently. So let's follow the instructions, even if we don't agree with exactly what they're telling us. Ain't got much for threads, but they did start. It's going to have to be good enough. All right, we've done that. It says insert and secure the tuning potentiometer onto the front panel. Okay, so let's the tuning. The accommodating mount for the time being, just hand tighten the nut to firmly hold the potentiometer in place. And we do have the anti-rotation hole in the panel, so that's good. And we know we're putting it the right way because it will only go in, that pin only has one hole to go in, so they're wanting the terminals facing up, obviously. It says insert the volume with the leads pointing up. Okay, so they tell us on this we want the leads up. But again, we got a location hole in there and a pin, so we could only put it in one way anyway. Get on there. Sometimes you need 3 hands. Okay, we got that done. Affix the tuning knob to the tuning potentiometers. When fully turned clockwise, okay, turn all the way clockwise, yes. It should be at the 6 o'clock position. Okay, so pointer will be at the 6 o'clock position. We need to grab us a little standard screwdriver. Okay. With that done, we have a tuning knob on our radio. Similarly, trim the length of the shaft of the volume control to fit the volume control knob. Trim the length of so they're wanting me to trim this plastic adjustment. Yeah, they gave us a really long volume control knob there. Okay, so this thing goes on about that far. Let's see. I assume I could probably do it with this one. They're probably about right. Yep, that's just about right. Okay, use 3 wires of different colors to solder the controls to the tabs on their PCB. To avoid mistakes, note that pre-tin the wires for attaching to them to the control. Keep the wire length short, but not too short. They are mostly carrying audio and DC. There's no RF energy in them. The middle tab on the PCB goes to the middle tab on the potentiometer. Double check this. If you solder the left and right tabs the wrong way, the tuning will happen in reverse direction of the volume control. Will give you full volume when held counterclockwise. You will have to just swap the connections to set it right. So we're to that point. We need to make up some wires and get them connected as shown, including the switch to the board. Polarity won't matter on that because it doesn't matter which way through the switch you go. It just passes the 12 volts to run it. Let me grab some wires, get them made up, and I'll get that taken care of, and I'll be right back. Okay, run into another little problem. Putting these wires on, everything's going great. But, it talks about wiring these wires here. I don't see where it talks about hooking the switch up. It goes to this page, says see the pictures, and the only place it shows you that the DC switch gets hooked up is on this picture right here. So I'm not sure why that is. You go into testing, switch on the power, turn the potentiometer clockwise. Well, you've not wired up the switch. You showed us a picture, but you didn't tell us to do that. But, okay. Here's my rub, though. This board in this picture is not the same. Let's move this out of my way here. If you note, you've got two surface mount electrolytic capacitors here directly under the volume. I also have those, but instead of being in line with the board, they're across the board. Okay, you say, well, what's the big deal, RJ? Well, the big deal is for somebody building this that's not, very knowledgeable in radios and stuff, they need real clear instructions to be successful. Might have some issues, and here's why. Notice where the wires run down to here to show you to connect for power. Here's the chip. Here's the U1 chip. I have no such connector on this board. There are surface mounted components here with no connections. Now, when I look, I see a connection over here labeled J8. I don't know if you can, let me get up to, maybe you can see that right here. There's a couple holes J8, nowhere near where this shows. And I'm going to assume that's it, but that's assumptions. We have nothing in here telling us where to hook that wire. So we're going to assume that. Well, let's take a look here. We come down underneath, and what do we find? We find that trace runs over directly to your power connector, your DC power connector. So I feel I'm really on good ground there. This is obviously power coming up here for some reason. Well, the first thing the power is going to come to is the switch. So I'm going to say that is our connector there. But boy, the instructions aren't helping me there. They need to be updated. This board's been changed apparently at some point. And not only that, even the old board should have had text saying, okay, you've connected these potentiometers the way we've told you. Now connect this switch to here, to J8. So anyway, just a little thing I run into. Let me get the power wires hooked up just like I've done the volume and the tuning knob, and I'll be right back. We've got our wiring hooked up for our switch here and for our volume pot and for our tuning pot, all soldered up, and we're moving on to the next part of the instructions. And the next part of the instructions is testing the DC and the audio amplifier. So we're going to have to set up a DC power supply for 12 volts. And we're going to have to turn the power on by turning the volume control. We'll insert a DC power through the jack, switch on the power, turn the potentiometer clockwise. Look for a draw. Should be drawing 40 to 70 milliamps. If it's pulling more than that, shut it down. Check for short circuits. If it's not turning on at all, check your on and off switch. Okay. Insert a telephone head-free earbud into the leftmost audio jack. Noise floor of the radio should smoothly increase and decrease as the volume's turned. Volume's in the opposite direction. Reverse the wires. Okay. So I'll set up for all this. I'll come back. I'll get us a 12-volt power supply that we can monitor the current on, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I've set everything up. I've got my 01 power supply set up to put out 12 volts. I've got it current limited to 100 milliamps because it's telling me here to prepare the cable, which I did, and turn the power off, but turn the volume control off. I've done that. Insert the DC, done that. Switch on the power supply, turn the potentiometer clockwise. At this point, the radio should be drawing between 40 milliamps and 70 milliamps. So I set it up to max out at 100 milliamps to protect this. If it's drawing more, immediately shut down the power, check for any shorts. If it's not drawing any power at all, check the on-off switch and the DC connector solder joints. Okay. Then it tells me insert a hands-free earbuds. I just hooked it up to the bench amplified speakers. I've got them turned up. Hopefully we're going to hear stuff. We'll see. Should be able to vary the volume and see the noise floor go up and down. And that's it. Then we're ready to take off doing more work. So let's do a quick check. We are off. I'm going to go ahead, and I've got the virtual instrument for the power supply up so you can watch. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on now. And so I'm getting 12.04 volts. It's basically pulling nothing. So now what we're going to do as it says and turn it on and watch the current. I can hear it hissing. I'm pulling 66 milliamps, right in range, so we're good there. And now it should volume. The hiss should come up with volume control. It does. Moves linearly with the control. Okay. And that's that test. So we passed that. So we've made it that far. Now, at this point, I think I'm going to end this video. This will be part 1 of building this. And that way it won't be too long. I can keep more of the content in each video. And we'll pick up with building the VFO and all that in the part 2. I appreciate you hanging out with me. I hope this was a little bit of entertainment, knowledge. Hope you'll click a like if you enjoyed it. Hey, and if you didn't like it, click a dislike. You know, give it a thumbs down if you didn't like it. That's okay. It's feedback. Helps me with the channel. I appreciate any feedback. So anyway, I hope that I'm going to see you in the next video.